Yeah, they showed them the money and they said yes.
Yeah.
$31 a share, $110 billion total. The pay package vote is not binding. It's one of those say on pays things that companies are required to do. If this company were continuing as a public company, then the board would take that into consideration and next year's pay. But this go round doesn't matter. They'll be gone, and David Zaslav will have his money.
Right. We're looking at accelerating equity awards valued at more than 500 million and $335 million in potential tax
Oh,
reimbursements.
nice.
So he makes out pretty well.
He always
So
does.
he always does. Chris, what does this mean for the thousands of Hollywood actors, screenwriters, directors, and other workers in the industry who have come together to oppose this merger? They were appealing to regulators, to policymakers. I mean, do they still continue to try to press state attorneys general to do something about this?
They can and they will. It's not a done deal overall. Certainly, it is from the shareholder standpoint. It's a milestone in that regard, but there's still regulatory approvals that have to be done, and everyone's sort of anticipating lawsuits similar to what we've seen in Live Nation and other cases, sort of opposing this deal. So yeah, quite
But
still a
not from
lot
the
of
federal
opposition.
government level, right?
It doesn't appear that that's the case. I mean, there's been no official sign
Hmm.
off. The Paramount will say that they've gotten clearance essentially from the DOJ, but there's really been no official sign off in Washington.
The deal price is $31 a share. The stock's trading at $27.30 here. That feels like a big discount to me from an arbitrage perspective, given this deal is going to presumably close in a couple of months. So I guess, what do you think the uncertainty might be out there in the marketplace, Chris? Is it regulatory? Do we need to get a sign off from President Trump, and that can always be a risk? Is it some legal, maybe lawsuits or something? What do you think? Is there
Yeah, I
uncertainty?
think all of the above. I mean, really, and we've really just seen a steady drumbeat. I mean, the Hollywood community has sort of been against it, but they had to shift. They had to go. They were opposed to Netflix, and then they sort of had to regather, and now they're opposed to Paramount. And so, but we've seen, the list of celebrities signing a petition against is growing. The number of events people like Cory Booker, the senator from New Jersey, have held to sort of examine this deal and criticize this deal. So whether it all amounts to something that will stop the deal, still a big question mark there, but there's certainly sort of growing opposition.
So when does the companies, Paramount, Warner Brothers Discovery, when do they start doing some of the hard work of integrating? Or is that something they cannot do until the regulators have made clear that they're not opposing?
Yeah, they they really have to wait
Mm.
to close. We saw in that Nexstar Tegner deal where they jumped as soon as they got a clearance in Washington, and then the lawsuit happens, and now they're actually barred from integrating. So very awkward situation. I imagine the Warner Brothers Paramount folks are looking at that and saying, "All right, well, we should probably make sure we're in the clear before we actually close this."
Chris, you're based in LA. I'm sure you know a lot of these folks that work at these entertainment companies. How concerned are they just about LA as a creative community, as a Hollywood community? Because here in New Jersey, Netflix is building a huge production complex
Where?
in down in Fort Monmouth, the old Army base, tore down everything at this huge Army base and are building this gajillion-dollar production facility. I mean, there's Vancouver, there's South Carolina, there's lots of places that are taking business away. What's the mood in LA creatively?
Particularly gloomy. Yeah. And, it's been that way. We've written about this for a couple years now. You've had, the flight to other locations to shoot is a big part of it. This overall cutbacks in spending among big companies. And the globalization of the business has really changed things. And then, we've got AI as a threat. So jobs are definitely weak, particularly here in the capital of entertainment. And so the idea of this big merger, while David Ellison, the CEO of Paramount, promises there'll be growth, everyone anticipates that it's going to be very difficult in the labor market.